Welcome to TonightTales audio. Sit back, relax, and let the story begin. I never planned to get a cat that day, but life rarely changes because of one big moment. More often, it changes because of a series of small decisions that seem unimportant at the time. To understand what happened, we need to go back a little. I had recently moved into my first apartment. It wasn't a large place, just a simple 2-bedroom apartment in a small building with 4 apartments in total. For most people, it probably felt normal. For me, it felt empty. I had lived with cats my entire life. There had always been a cat somewhere in the house, a cat sleeping on a chair, a cat watching birds through a window, a cat quietly walking through a room in the middle of the night. Then suddenly, there was nothing. The evenings were the hardest. Sometimes I thought I heard a sound from another room, a movement, a soft noise from the hallway. For a brief moment, my mind expected a cat to appear, but it never happened. It was just me. I always knew I wanted another cat. The question was never if, the question was when. During my first year in the apartment, I slowly prepared for the future. A food bowl, a water bowl, a scratching post, a few toys. Everything was ready. I just hadn't made the decision yet. Then my vacation began. There was nothing special about that morning. Nothing felt different. But sometime during the day, a simple thought appeared in my mind. It's time. Not next month, not next year, today. I picked up my phone and called my father. I've decided, I said. I'm getting a cat today. Do you want to come with me? There was a short pause. Then he laughed. Of course. I'll come pick you up. A little later, I walked down to the basement to get the pet carrier. Even then, I could hardly believe I had finally made the decision. After all the planning, after all the waiting, today was the day. The shelter. Before visiting the shelter, I already knew one thing. I wasn't looking for a kitten. Kittens are wonderful. They are full of energy, full of curiosity, and they usually don't have much trouble finding a new home. Older cats often have a harder time. Many people walk into a shelter hoping to leave with a kitten. I wanted to give a home to a cat that might be overlooked. When I arrived at the shelter that day, I wasn't searching for the youngest cat. I was searching for the cat who needs a new home. My father and I spent some time walking through the shelter with a member of the staff. She introduced us to several cats and told us a little about each of them. Every cat had a story. Some had been rescued. Some had lost their homes. Some were still learning to trust people again. I listened carefully, but after a while, the staff member became thoughtful. She looked at me for a moment, then she smiled. To be honest, she said, I'm not sure any of the cats here are the right match for you. It wasn't what I expected to hear. She explained that many of their cats were currently living with foster families and not staying at the shelter itself. For a moment, I felt disappointed. Not because I needed to leave with a cat that day, but because there are so many cats in need of a home. I had hoped one of them would be the right one. Then something seemed to occur to her. Actually, she paused. There is one cat arriving today? My father and I looked at each other. He isn't here yet, but I think you should meet him. So we stepped outside to wait. The shelter had a small secondhand shop nearby, and we wandered around while passing the time. We talked a little. Mostly we waited. Then I noticed a woman walking toward the shelter. She was carrying a pet carrier. Inside was a black and white cat. I watched her for a few seconds. Then I turned to my father. I think that's the cat we're going to meet. My father looked over. A small smile appeared on his face. Maybe, he said. About 10 minutes later, a member of the staff came to find us. He's ready. I followed her inside. A few moments later, I entered the room. There he was. Milo, around 5 years old. Not a kitten. Not the cat I had expected to meet when I woke up that morning. And yet, somehow, I had a feeling that he might be exactly the cat I had been looking for. Milo stayed near the back of the room when I first saw him. Everything around him was unfamiliar. The shelter, the people, the sounds. Even from a distance, I could see that he was nervous. I sat down quietly and gave him some space. There was no reason to rush. A frightened cat needs time. For a few moments, neither of us moved. Milo simply watched me, carefully, as if he was trying to figure out who I was. I remember looking into his eyes. The best way I can describe it is this. There was fear, but there was also hope. Fear because everything in his world had suddenly changed. Hope because maybe, just maybe, things were about to get better. Even now, years later, that is what I remember most. His eyes. I had met many cats throughout my life, but there was something about Milo that felt different. Not dramatic, not magical, just a quiet feeling that I couldn't explain. The woman who had brought him to the shelter was still there. She watched from a distance, waiting, hoping. I don't think I spent very long making my decision. In fact, the decision may have already been made the moment I saw him. I looked at the staff, then at the woman, then back at Milo. "I'll take him." The woman smiled. A smile filled with relief. The kind of smile that appears when something you've been worried about finally works out. And just like that, Milo had a new home. A little while later, my father and I were back in the car. This time, Milo was coming with us. He sat quietly inside the carrier during the drive. Every now and then, I glanced toward him. It felt strange. Only a few hours earlier, I had woken up expecting an ordinary day. Now there was a cat in the back seat on his way to a new life. And in many ways, so was I. The first night. The drive home was quiet. Every now and then, I looked back at the carrier. Milo stayed still for most of the journey. I could only imagine what was going through his mind. Just a few hours earlier, he had been somewhere else. Now he was heading toward a home he had never seen before. When we arrived, I carried the carrier inside and carefully opened the door. For a moment, nothing happened. Then Milo stepped out. Slowly, carefully, he looked around. Everything was new. A few seconds later, he disappeared under the bed. I smiled. That was exactly what I expected. After some time, he moved from under the bed to behind the sofa. Another safe place, another hiding spot. My father stayed for a while, and we talked quietly while giving Milo the space he needed. Every now and then, I would catch a glimpse of him watching us from a distance. Always alert, always careful. Eventually, it was time for my father to head home. The apartment became quiet again, but this time it felt different. For the first time since moving in, I wasn't alone. Somewhere nearby, a black and white cat was hiding and trying to make sense of his new world. Later that night, I got ready for bed. The apartment was dark and peaceful. For a while, nothing happened. Then I heard movement. I looked up. Milo had finally come out. He slowly walked into the bedroom and stopped. For a moment, he simply looked around. Then he looked at me. I spoke softly. "You're safe here." Maybe he understood. Maybe he didn't. But after a few moments, he jumped onto the bed. At first, he stayed near my feet, keeping a little distance. Just enough to feel safe. I didn't move. I didn't want to scare him. Little by little, he relaxed. Then something happened that made me smile. Milo rolled onto his back and exposed his belly. For many cats, that's a sign of trust. A sign that they feel safe. A sign that they don't believe they need to be afraid. I remember feeling incredibly happy. Not because I expected instant trust, but because it felt like the first small step. The beginning of something. Neither of us knew it yet, but a friendship had just begun. The question. Years have passed since that day. The frightened cat I met at the shelter is no longer frightened. The apartment that once felt empty has never felt empty again. Milo became part of my daily life, part of my routines, part of my home, and before long, part of my family. Looking back, I sometimes find myself thinking about how easily things could have been different. What if I had decided to wait another week? What if I had chosen another day? What if Milo had arrived later? What if I had never walked through the shelter doors at all? Small decisions, small moments, small coincidences, yet somehow they all led to the same place, to a black and white cat named Milo. Sometimes people ask if I rescued him. The truth is, I'm not entirely sure. Because while Milo found a new home that day, I found something too. A companion, a friend, a reason to smile when I came home at night. So when I think back to that day, I still wonder, was it simply a chain of random decisions? A series of coincidences that happened to fall into place? Or was it something more? I don't know. Maybe there is no answer. Maybe some questions aren't meant to be answered. But I do know one thing. I never planned to get a cat that day. And yet, somehow, it became one of the best decisions of my life. Was it chance or was it fate? I'll let you decide. Thank you for spending your time with TonightTales Audio. If this story made you smile, think, dream, or simply helped you relax, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you'd like more stories like this. Every comment, every like, and every listener means more than you know. Until our paths cross again in another story, thank you for listening.